I be like, sheesh, sunset on the beach. Make me wanna pull up on Miami with the heat.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Anytime Sports Podcast, and we need to talk about something. We're not going anywhere, and we're about to amp up our coverage on Anytime Sports Podcast here. I know it's been a long time since we've uploaded a video, a podcast. It's been a while. We've been just kind of enjoying our summer, and also not always enjoying it, but like thinking, how can we take Anytime Sports Podcast to the next level? I know Andrew and I are both going off to college, and that doesn't mean any less ASP coverage. We're going to continue developing and making Anytime Sports Podcast your exclusive sports podcast. And we're not going anywhere. Right now, let's just jump into things. We're going to go into some NFL news that we have missed since we have left. We're going to go over the past few weeks of information. Hey, you want to lead us off, Andrew?
Well, boy, we have been gone for a while, going back to even when we were first gone. Bunch of news I could think of. Baker Mayfield getting signed to the Panthers. That was forever ago, old news. DK Metcalf getting an extension.
Yeah, DK getting an extension.
Current news, Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford downplays severity. He said he has an elbow nagging him that we think it could go on throughout the season.
Matthew Stafford, that was a huge impact, and I don't think it should be taken lightly. He's played throughout injury throughout most of his career in Detroit. Like, basically, he's been 33% healthy in Detroit for the whole time he's played there. He's a very tough candidate. He's a very tough guy. They got a hard schedule this year. They got a really tough schedule, and they're going to need him on his A game, but it seems like this injury could be lingering, which could be not in the ideal situation for the Rams, who are trying to repeat back-to-back. But we'll get you any updates on that situation if it comes up. Keenan Allen ranked his top 5 wide receivers on the I Am Athlete podcast. His number 1 wide receiver is Davante Adams. He thinks Davante is number 1. 2 is himself. 3 is Stephon Diggs. 4 Tyreek Hill. 5 Cooper Kupp. What are your thoughts on that list?
I think, honestly, I don't think Tyreek Hill cracks the top 5 just because the quarterback he's dealing with
Tyreek Hill. We're not talking about the quarterback itself. We're talking about the wide receiver. It doesn't matter that the quarterback, what they have at quarterback. It just remembers the wide receiver. And myself, I would put like Davante Adams at 1.
Cooper Kupp.
I'd put Justin Jefferson at 2. I'd put Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp at 3. Then I'd put Stephon Diggs at 4. And I'd probably have to put Tyreek Hill at 5.
Yeah, I'd say Tyreek Hill, or also at 5, I like Jamar Chase.
I just think it's too early in his career. After 1 year, he did have an amazing year, and I credit him for him and Joe Burrow to have that connection. Like they had that connection in college, and it didn't seem to skip a beat. And that's why I don't think Davante Adams will skip a beat with Derek Carr, because they were both college roommates and trained in the offseason. I think their potential is much larger than people do think, and I believe that he's going to be a great fantasy guy, and not only to actually help the Raiders go win a Super Bowl. That team looks very good right now, and going over that preseason game, I know it was just a preseason game that they just played the Hall of Fame game, but I do believe I like that coaching staff there. It seems like they knew what they were doing, and Josh McDaniels does know what he's doing and why he left New England the first time. It didn't really work out. He had Tim Tebow as his quarterback. Now he's coming back into a different situation. He left. He came to the Raiders. He wants to win games. He can win them with the veteran quarterback. Derek Carr is exactly the guy he needs. A kind of pocket passer-esque type. He's got a lot of weapons there. He's got Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow. He's got Darren Waller, and of course Davante Adams. That offensive line needed a little bit of work, but hopefully some zone running schemes that they've proven actually like really work well for Josh McDaniels in his scheme. Hopefully he can get that going, and some competent defense, and I believe the Raiders can make a run.
Yeah, the only thing that could set them down is that tough division. They're going against the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos, which all are great teams as well, and playing those teams 2 times a year. So they're going to beat your team down. We got to see how they could hold up.
I do think, but I do really like the way they're heading, the direction they're heading. They are in a tough conference and a tough division itself, but I do like the direction the Las Vegas Raiders are heading. Any more news?
And then someone asked Aaron Rodgers, does he plan to play to 45 like Tom Brady? He said, no, I don't.
Wait, what?
Does Aaron Rodgers plan to play till he's 45 like Tom Brady? No,
he's not gonna. The way he was saying he was taking psychedelic drugs and winning games last season. I think that was just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
He still owns the Bears, still on psychological drugs.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious. Jets wide receiver Elijah Moore appears to be the established number one receiver, according to Zach Rosen. I can't say your last name, but sorry, Zach. What do you think? Elijah Moore, wide receiver 1. He had an injury towards the end of the last season. This is a guy in a fantasy football draft that we may talk about later that you can get in the later rounds. He's a very good option. Elijah Moore is your wide receiver 1. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, when he's healthy, he's proved that he could be a wide receiver 1. So I see where they're coming for that.
I think he's very good. I think he's very underrated.
Yep.
For the category that they are, and they did draft Garrett Wilson, so they're gonna have some weapons, and of course you got the MILF Hunter himself at quarterback. So I do believe this is gonna be a good season for the Jets, and I believe it's a building season for the Jets. They need to see some improvement from Zach Wilson and that offense in order to buy in and get more veterans and get more players, because it is good when a New York team starts winning, because when a New York team starts winning, the NFL is much better.
Yes. And other big news that we did not cover when we were gone, the Deshaun Watson case. So they originally gave him 6-game suspension. People on social media just flamed him. Roger Goodell said, okay, we'll take that back. He appealed it, and now I think he hired a lawyer to look more into that, investigate it. I'm pretty sure they're going to expect...
we're in a strange situation where this could be kicked down the road, and this could be he can play this year, but next year he might get a suspension. We're down to that point where we thought we were going to get a ruling, and we did get a ruling by a judge. It was told now that Roger Goodell wasn't going to have all the power that he did have, because it was agreed in the CBA that he had too much power, and they gave it to a judge to have that ruling. And the judge, we don't know what the judge is thinking. We have all this outside information, but what was actually presented in court? And the court ruling says 6 games. That's what the judge, because only a few cases were taken to actual court, and his ruling on his suspension was 6 games off of those. We know all the other stuff about the hundreds of massages that he did have, and could have ended up. I'm not defending the guy. I'm just saying, in court, there's certain things that were approached, and they felt 6 games was needed. It wasn't appealed by Deshaun Watson's team. It was appealed by the NFL. So we can see a strange situation, kind of like the Brady suspension, where it waited a year for Deflategate is what I'm talking about. It waited a year. We could see that actually happen. And so we're in a strange situation with that. We should have had a ruling a long time ago, but we don't have a ruling as of right now. And hopefully all parties come to an agreement.
Something else that I was thinking, we said this before, as soon as he got traded to the Browns, don't give a guaranteed contract to a guy you don't know who's guaranteed to play for your team that year.
He's good when he plays.
Yeah.
He's good. He's
but he
really
hasn't played
good.
in 2 seasons.
It doesn't matter. He's still good. He's still better than what they would have Baker. He's still better. I mean, he's just all that good. You give him guaranteed money because you feel like he's going to play. And let's be honest, the Browns did that because if they didn't do it, another team was about to do it. You know, the Falcons were getting ready to pay him a whole bunch of money.
Bunch of cases and stuff. So
well, you can't really blame the Browns. I mean, you could blame them, but you can't really fault them. A lot of teams were looking in the same situation and wanting Deshaun Watson. They weren't the only team, and it just started to get worse on them progressively. You think they would have done their research, but they didn't really do their research, and there hasn't been any suspension yet. They got appealed, but hopefully they can come to agreement. Another form of news that just came out, Deontay Johnson signing a 2-year extension worth $18.4 million per season, according to Adam Schefter. What are your thoughts on Deontay Johnson, the clear wide receiver 1 of the Pittsburgh Steelers, getting an extension?
I mean, well deserved by him. Obviously, he's performed these past years, but Him and Chase Claypool could be a good 1-2 this year, along with Najee. And plus having Mitch at the quarterback there.
I really like Deontay Johnson. I really like what he brings to the table. And I can't understate how much I think George Pickens is actually going to perform there. I think he's going to be a fire within the room. He's going to help. And reports are coming out there that Trubisky is struggling mightily in camp. The coaching staff is very mad right now, so we could see an open quarterback competition with Kenny Pickett, which could be interesting and definitely would hurt their chances of making the playoffs this year. Definitely, if you're a Steelers fan, honestly, you hope if they don't win or contend for a playoff spot this season that you kind of tank and maybe get a quarterback, because if you get a quarterback, man, that team will be dangerous. It's got some weapons on there, but Mike Tomlin knows how to coach, and I know he knows how to coach. And this guy, they got a great defense. They got an amazing defense. It's a shame they got to keep building on that defense, but it's interesting with the quarterback situation. I don't know who's it gonna be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really, it's all up in the air for them because you got three good guys there, or you got the guy you just drafted, Kenny Pickett. They said also that he's the quarterback 3, which is expectable because you got a guy that knows the system. You got a guy, Mitchell Trubisky, who has experience, and you got just drafted. So that's good ordering for the quarterbacks.
The Cowboys are signing free agent Anthony Barr per Mike Gesicki. So Anthony Barr, the former Viking, is now going to be a Dallas Cowboy. What are your thoughts on that? And I know it's kind of a Dallas Cowboy move.
I mean, you just got to see what he does. I mean, he's up there in age, so you got to hope he performs this year. He's on a 1-year contract worth $3 million, so we're not really giving up much for him. But I mean, if he could perform, then that's a steal.
N'Keal Harry, I don't know did we go over that yet or no?
No, we did not.
N'Keal Harry is believed to have a severe ankle injury. What are your thoughts? Already Bears wide receiving core is getting very injured.
And along with that, Velus Jones and Byron Pringle are hurt. So the Bears are down arguably some of their top 3 receivers. So they got Mooney.
An
at least he's
already
healthy.
Scarce wide receiver core just got even more scarce. Another reason why the Bears ain't doing crap this year. They ain't doing crap. I know they are not doing crap. You still think they're going 17-0 and winning the Super Bowl.
I mean, I feel bad for N'Keal Harry, too, because he was traded from the Patriots for a 7th-round pick, hoping to restart his career, get a fresh start with a new team, gets injured. So
okay, let's move on to our next segment. It's kind of a news segment that we got coming over here. Let's go to Instagram Reacts. How this is going to happen is I'm gonna we're gonna show an Instagram post that we screenshotted off of Instagram, and we're gonna react, and we want you to react with us in the comments section below. But we're going to react to some of the things that are posted on Instagram. First up, we have the Davis Mills clip. It's my mom was trying to tell me to hit up the marketing people so I can get a turtleneck sponsorship for Davis Mills. What are your thoughts on a turtleneck sponsorship from the famous neck clip?
Absolutely great marketing. Where do you go, like, if you're a turtleneck company?
What is a turtleneck? Like,
you don't know what a turtleneck is?
No, I know what a turtleneck is. I don't know what companies make turtlenecks.
I don't know that either, but turtleneck companies out there, hit up Davis Mills. Great marketing is a great neck for your turtleneck. Make an extra long turtleneck, extra wide turtleneck for those wide neck and long neck people out there.
I'm waiting for the Texans to come out with a turtleneck jersey so I can buy myself a turtleneck jersey.
Yes, sir. Davis Mills turtleneck jersey.
Turtleneck jersey.
Yeah.
Make a Davis Mills turtleneck. I think that would sell very well in the Houston market itself. Davis Mills looking to have a improvement season since last year, being one of the best rookie quarterbacks coming out. The next Instagram reaction we're going to is Kareem Hunt has requested a trade out of Cleveland. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, Kareem Hunt, he's obviously the running back 2 behind Nick Chubb, which I don't think Cleveland needs him, but he's also a great 3-down guy. Say Nick Chubb needs a break, they could keep running the ball with Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt wants money. I don't think he's going to get that money. He requested a trade. Cleveland said no. So he's pretty much stuck there unless a team gives him a big offer or something. I don't really see there's a team that's out there that needs him, but what are your opinions?
Honestly, the fact that the Browns denied his trade request was very puzzling for me, because I don't know what they're thinking, but Kareem Hunt's not getting any younger. He's a great pass catcher out of the back of the field. He adds a little thunder and lightning for the lightning being Kareem Hunt, and the thunder, the punch being Nick Chubb. I really like what they have going there, but I think you can get that with Dearness Johnston. I think he's a running back 2 on a team. He's a running back 2, talent-wise, in my opinion, as of right now.
Yeah.
I feel like you can get him extra reps. He'll be cheaper, and you sell maybe Kareem Hunt and get a couple draft picks for him, and then use those guys to build around your team. I don't know why they're gonna stick paying a bunch of money to Kareem Hunt when he just did request a trade. He requests a trade. He wants out. Guy's not happy in the locker room. He's not getting paid. What does that help the other locker room, the other people? It doesn't really help Cleveland in that aspect. Cleveland's been in the news recently with the Deshaun Watson thing and the massage convention heading there. They've been in the news for a lot of different things. This is another thing that popped up. Kareem Hunt wanted to trade out, and I don't know why they won't give it to him, because in my opinion they have Dearness Johnston, and I think he showed in the couple games that he played that he is something good, something special. Could be like someone like a Tony Pollard, which I actually think Tony Pollard should be the RB1 and the Cowgirls.
Yeah.
But I really think that Kareem Hunt needs to be traded, and where would he be traded? Get him down to Jacksonville.
Oh yeah, they really.
Or you get him down to Houston. Houston
really?
don't have a running back at all.
Houston would actually be good.
I'd dial up the phone to Houston, and I'd say, hey, well, how. You gonna give me to a 4th-round pick for Kareem Hunt? I'll take a 4th round for Kareem.
Yeah, that's actually a fair trade. He's still got a couple years in him. He's a little older as a player. He's not really utilized, or he's utilized on the Browns, but he doesn't need to be utilized. So they could get. I'm surprised they actually didn't trade him as well, just because you get some value out of that guy. All right.
Oh, definitely. And we're heading into this next one. It's of Christian McCaffrey. A quote from Matt Rule that said, "We're all thinking about Christian McCaffrey one way only, and it's attack. Attack. From Christian McCaffrey. That's good for fantasy if his body holds up.
Man's is made of glass.
He's been very brittle in the past few seasons. I think it's just because of the workload he has had throughout his NFL career and college career. The man was had 1,000-yard rushing and 1,000-yard receiving. I mean, he's absolutely insane. The amount of fantasy points when he is healthy, he is the single best fantasy player out there. And I think for himself, just personally, he needs to have a healthy season. I think he's one of the best athletes in the NFL, to be honest. I think you can put him up there, a top 2 athlete in the NFL. But he just needs to stay healthy.
That's the thing, though.
He just needs to stay healthy.
They want to use him, and the only way they're using him, they said, was attack. I mean, you got to take the workload lightly on him, maybe ease him into the workload he had last year, but as you've seen in the past, he's got injured from overloading on the workload. They really don't have many weapons there now. Baker Mayfield, he could kind of throw, so maybe get the ball out to Robbie Anderson a bit more. But, I mean, Christian McCaffrey's there if you want him, but
I love Christian McCaffrey and the fact that if he can stay healthy, he is single-handedly the best fantasy running back. Not only that, he's just one of the best running backs in the NFL if he stays healthy. He's on a redemption-type season. He had 2 years in a row where he got injured. Sounds like somebody else, like Saquon Barkley. Let's give this guy a chance, and I'm ready to get hurt again in fantasy football.
Yes, you're going to do that and regret it.
And that wraps up the Instagram Reacts, and actually is a great transition into our next segment. We're talking fantasy football, and specifically we're talking fantasy football steals. Do you want us to lead us off with one of the best steals in your fantasy football draft? I know you like this player a lot, and you could lead off with the man from Chicago.
Justin Fields, pick 120. Quarterback 17. I mean, if you're really going late in the draft, one of your last picks potentially, depending which size league you're in, go for Justin Fields. He does have that Darnell Mooney connection. He'll still put up those points. Good for a late round quarterback. He's a great steal.
You really like Justin Fields. I think there is some upside in Justin Fields and a fantasy side of things. If it is true and he's taken a step up in performance from last year, and he could get some form of offense helping. He's got the Packers quarterback coach heading over and kind of curtailing the offense more so to him as to then just having him run whatever Matt Nagy wants him to run. Curtailing it to him and helping him growing in his development. Hopefully he can get a little bit better, and he may be some fantasy football steal later in your round. Maybe some guys on a bye week you wanna put some guy in. Maybe you could feel comfortable putting in a Justin Fields.
And then,
but somebody that
something to add on to that real quick is that the Bears do have the second easiest schedule in the league, so if they play some of those easier teams, maybe
not the easiest.
The second easiest schedule.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. Look up the easiest schedules.
No, NFL,
it was Washington and the Bears had the two easiest schedules. But maybe you get a week.
I think that's a lie. I think they have one of the hardest. Oh, they have it.
The fourth easiest.
I look at their schedule and I don't think they're gonna win many games.
Well, you get a game. They play the Giants. They play a team like the Giants. They play a team with a not so good backfield or defense. You put Justin Fields in there. That's kind of free points.
I still don't think they're gonna win over 6 games.
I think they're gonna be 17-0. Now, realistically, I think they'll be at 500.
That's a very biased claim. But another quarterback that we could see in the later rounds of maybe potentially drafting some guy from North Dakota State who went to the San Francisco 49ers. I'm talking about Trey Lance here. It has been told, Jimmy G has been told that he is no longer going to be the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, and Trey Lance is going to take over. What does that mean for the San Francisco 49ers? He does have Kyle Shanahan, one of the best coaches in the NFL right now. They got some weapons. George Kittle, if he stays healthy. Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk is apparently, supposedly, Trey Lance's favorite deep target threat. So that may be a guy in fantasy football in the later rounds you may want to look. But we're talking Trey Lance here. And I think he's got great upside. He showed some flashes in the games he played last year. I really think with Kyle Shanahan, with a full off season and a full training camp, and he's been lining it up, I think that he has a great possibility to take the next step, take the 49ers to the playoffs, and maybe make a deep run.
Yep. For sure, that team does have a lot of explosive energy.
And then with another guy that I think you could get, if you have no morals to begin with and just draft him straight up, Deshaun Watson out of the Cleveland Browns.
That's a risky take.
with his suspension being kicked down the road, such a great quarterback with not knowing his suspension. Maybe in the later rounds you could take a chance on somebody like him. Somebody who doesn't have a suspension. If he doesn't end up having that suspension, he'll be a very good fantasy quarterback for you. He'll get the 20 to 25 range of points per week. With the suspension lingering, with 6 games, you could pick him in the later round and say, I can survive 6 weeks, and after 6 weeks, you can put him in. But if his suspension may be kicked down the road, you may be looking at this guy from week 1, maybe start him, and you can get him in the later rounds because everyone's like, you know what, I really don't want to pick Deshaun Watson, but hey, winners, you win how you win.
Another thing,
if you pick Deshaun Watson, I guess you could be a winner.
Bouncing off Deshaun Watson, another guy that we know for sure is getting suspended for 6 weeks is DeAndre Hopkins. I saw him a lot in the later rounds, around the 6th and 7th round.
I just don't like that big.
Maybe pick a guy up like D-Hop, arguably if he's healthy, one of the top receivers in the league. And
I'll let you pick D-Hop. I'll let you pick D-Hop.
He'll get suspended He'll get
He's not
suspended
gonna-
for about
He's not gonna
6 weeks.
He's got to do long.
You
for
let
him.
the Cardinals maybe they have a little beginning of the season jitters with Marquise Brown. Oh yeah, Hollywood Brown. By the way,
They
he did
always
get-
do
he-
good in the
he-
beginning of the season. They
Hollywood
always suck
Brown
later in the season.
Hollywood Brown
so I
did
don't
get
know why.
arrested. By the way, and then they'll get some of their stuff settled in, and then D Hop will come back about week 6 and go off.
I just don't know if that's.
He'll be a bench player though for 6 weeks.
I don't know if that's going to be the right answer. I don't think that's a fantasy football winning move right there.
You're
but
saying get Deshaun, then that's the same thing as saying getting D Hop.
But I'm saying Deshaun might not be suspended
He's
this
gonna
year.
be suspended. It was at least 6
No,
weeks.
it may be kicked down the road. It was appealed by the NFL. That
Which means
suspension
they're
no
gonna-
longer applies right now. That could be kicked along. It was the same situation as the Tom Brady thing. If he is not suspended, he is a guy in some later rounds that you can get. Right now. There has been no word of a suspension. It's been appealed right now. There's no suspension on Deshaun Watson. If they don't get a suspension out there, he could be a fantasy football quarterback you can pick up in the later rounds. But to pivot off of that, let's head to some running backs. Another running back, another team with one of the easiest rushing schedules is the Miami Dolphins. Therefore, I have Chase Edmonds in the mix. I do not like Chase Edmonds as much as some people do, but Edmonds has eclipsed the 10-yard mark on 16% of his attempts last season, which is 5.5% points above the NFL's average. He's also delivered as an RB1 worthy targets at the target per attempt at 20%, which is eclipsed 3 out of 4 seasons. He's a very explosive weapon, and he could be used to maybe in the later rounds pick up, and might be your RB a little flex.
Not
and
to
he
mention,
could put some points up on the board.
Not to mention, they also do have Raheem Mostert, so we know he's also made of glass. So we'll see what happens with him. They could be splitting reps, but yeah, I think he is a really good late round steal if you're gonna pick him up because Miami, Tua can't throw, but he does have Tyreek Hill as well. So we'll see what happens.
You can go to the next one.
All right, next one is Drake London on the Atlanta Falcons. We know Atlanta Falcons just got Marcus Mariota. And then historically speaking, receivers taken in the first 8 picks of the NFL draft produced well in their rookie season going back to 2011. Also, Drake London, we know Marcus Mariota, he can sling the ball. He's also a great rushing quarterback, but I think Drake London, the Falcons don't have many receivers. They got I think they still have Cordell Patterson, and then they got Drake London now, so he'll be a great pick at pick 92.
Yeah, pick 92 is historically speaking receivers that have been taken in the first 8 picks in the NFL will produce their rookie seasons going back to A.J. Green, Justin Blackmon, Trayvon Austin, Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Mike Williams, Corey Davis, Jalen Waddle, and Jamar Chase. All these guys doing well in their rookie seasons and having a good option. Also Julio Jones. And Treylon Burks is another guy that I have at pick 97, wide receiver 41 right now. Burks will have an opportunity to make one of the most immediate impacts in this play-action style of offense. With A.J. Brown now gone out of the picture, they're going to need someone to fill up in that spot, and he had a lot of comps to A.J. Brown. Burks did deliver the second best explosive target ratio in the 2022 draft class at 22%. I do believe that Treylon Burks has an opportunity to become a true star in the NFL, and I do believe he has a opportunity to be a true star on your fantasy football team. I think if you get him in the later rounds, take a chance on someone like him. He could give you A.J. Brown type numbers, and that is good. He is a rookie, so we don't know as much yet, but I do like Treylon Burks in his situation in Tennessee.
Yeah, and along with rookies that'll do good in fantasy, a lot of the time I've been drafting in my mock drafts in the 5th round, Breece Hall as one of my running backs. I just really like him getting handoffs because I don't think Zach Wilson or Flacco, whoever plays, they won't be slinging the ball downfield. They don't have many weapons downfield, so they'll be handing off the ball a good amount. And
I think Mike White can come in and just
Mike White coming back.
All right, let's head to our next segment. We have a new segment called Madden Ratings Gone Wrong. A few weeks ago, they released the Madden ratings, and a lot of people react to those already, but we're here to react to a couple different ones that we think, what were you smoking when you made those ratings, Madden? So, heading on to the first player, we have DeAndre Swift rating at an 80 overall. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, DeAndre Swift showed he could be a top 10 running back. In fact, he probably is a top 10 running back. The only factor that I think Madden is looking at, that he is on Detroit. I mean, he made an impact last year. He put up numbers, so I think he should be at least an 85 overall.
It shouldn't matter. I mean, he's very, very good. In my opinion, 88 overall right there. He's very good. He did have an injury last season, but when he was on the field, man, was he one of the only bright spots for the Detroit Lions out there. I think that was criminally rated. I do think he should be up a bit higher. Moving on to the next guy that we know dearly, Roquan Smith. A right outside linebacker, 89 overall. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, first, the right outside linebacker, I don't get that. They could have just done it because it was in the beta mode and it was just a default thing for him. I don't know, but he's a middle linebacker. 89, I think that's a little low. A guy that made such an impact on a team that was so bad last year, he should be at least a 92. I believe one of the top linebackers in the league should receive more respect, I think.
I think he should be like a 90, 92, 93 overall rating, in my opinion. I think definitely that Roquan Smith is probably one of the best linebackers. To me, he's in the top 3 of linebackers right now. He's been Pro Bowl snubbed the last 2 years, but definitely over guys like Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner is old, and he really hasn't performed well for a couple of years now. And to have him ranked above someone like Roquan Smith is not right in any category of imagination. In the rating charts, how is Lamar in 87 overall? Good question.
I don't know. Lamar is the top 10 quarterbacks right now. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. I see that. Those are acceptable. I could see Aaron Rodgers possibly being above Tom Brady because of his back-to-back MVP seasons, but Madden doesn't really care about that. Then you get Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert. That's acceptable, just the fact that Joe Burrow's a 90, Dak is an 89, and Herbert's an 88. And then you get Russell Wilson and Lamar at an 87. Lamar, I get it, he's been injured, but he's one of the best rushing quarterbacks that we've seen in the league in a while. He can't throw the ball as well, which I see why it'd be lower, but I think his overall should be at least a 93, 92, around that range. And then also, they put Deshaun Watson at an 84, although he hasn't played a snap in 2 years, which I get. He's great when he's on the field, but I don't know if he's going to even play this year. Kyler Murray's an 84, Derek Carr an 83, Matt Ryan 81, Ryan Tannehill 83. That is understandable. And then also for Madden 23 throw accuracy rankings, the top 3 quarterbacks for that, Tom Brady, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers. That's all right. Tom Brady's a 99 throw accuracy. I mean, you figure the guy gets older, his rankings will go down, but it's Tom Brady. His rankings aren't going to go down. He's just going to be slow. But other than that,
to me, AJ, to me, Jamar Chase is a criminally rated player right now. Jamar Chase ranked at an 87 overall after his amazing rookie season. He's on the same level as rating as Brandon Cooks and A.J. Brown. And actually, DJ Moore is rated one above him. Jamar Chase, in my opinion, man, he is very, very, very good. I would have him ranked probably at an 89, 90 overall, in my opinion, after his first year. But they have someone like Michael Thomas who hasn't played in 2 years. He's still at a 90 overall. I don't know how you can do that. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can do that with
Speaking,
Jamar.
like, one back before, earlier in the episode, when we listed our top 5 wide receivers, I put Jamar Chase on there. Even having Jamar Chase and 80, was it 87?
Jamar?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get that. I mean, same level as Brandon Cooks? No, definitely not. He put up stats that no rookie's done in a while.
No disrespect to Brandon Cooks. I mean, he is one of the. I had him on my fantasy team last year, but no disrespect to him because he is a fabulous wide receiver that's been passed around a lot. He is a good wide receiver, but I'm just saying Jamar Chase did have a better statistical year last year and looked a bit better.
Yeah.
Not to Brandon Cooks' non-fault because he did have a rookie quarterback and he didn't have a good team around him. But I guess we should be saying congratulations, Brandon Cooks. You're on the same level as Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
According to Madden. One thing to react to, Jalen Johnson is at an 82, a guy that Devontae Adams said played him the hardest last season, is only at an 82 overall. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, many players, Cooper Kupp even said it. He locked up some of the best receivers in the league. I mean, you're at a Bears team that has no secondary. You got a guy that could lock up those receivers. Jalen Johnson, he should be at least higher than an 82, maybe an 87.
I think he definitely is a criminally underrated guy. I'm just trying to look up right now that who is ahead of him. So if you give me,
should be about an 87 to a 90. I think just because the team he's on and how he's performed against the receivers he's been against.
Someone like Trayvon Diggs is up there, and Trayvon Diggs has been videos of him getting burnt in camp by a no-name. Jalen Johnson, some people ahead of him is Darius Williams, Jamal Dean, Byron Murphy Jr., Bryce Callahan. So he's got a couple guys ahead of him in that category.
A couple of those guys that haven't
they're actually on
in
the
years.
same. They're on the same overall as him. So they're saying, yes, he is the same overall. Some guys that are a bit higher. Patrick Surtain, which I do get that. Shaquille Griffin, cornerback. I don't know how you put him in at 84. That just doesn't make sense to me at all. But I think he's criminally underrated, and I think he should get a ratings boost immediately when the game comes out.
And then according to Madden, JT is a 95. Where's that 99 club? He should be in 99 club.
I think he should be in the 99 club, to be honest.
At least a 98, not a 95. He's proving
he was at 95 last year.
Literally in NFL's...
Yeah, there was a leading rusher last year. I think he should be in the 99 club.
In NFL's bio last year, they literally said JT for MVP, ? Literally praising their own guy. He went the whole season without getting hurt. He put up stats that have never been seen in a while.
Well, they have been seen.
But for a guy that young,
he's very good, and I think he should have been at least a little higher than a 95, maybe a 99 club. Maybe you couldn't get him to it, so you just gave him a 95. But I think you should have given him maybe a 98 overall or something.
Yeah,
like that. Definitely. And another guy that criminally underrated, Trey Hendrickson. A guy who had an amazing season last year with the I can't think right now. With the Bengals, had a career sack season. Is only at an 85 overall. They did it last year. They put him at like a normal development trade or something like that, which was a shame. But Trey Hendrickson is definitely should be higher than an 85 overall, maybe an 88 and 87 ranking for me is a bit better.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, a guy that single-handedly helped or carried the Bengals defense to a Super Bowl championship. He was injured for a bit, I get that, but an 85 is really low for a guy that did that well last year.
You had up here that Micah Hyde isn't a top 10 safety according to Matt?
Minkah Fitzpatrick isn't a top 10. Minkah Fitzpatrick isn't a top 10 safety.
Why the fuck I say Micah?
Minkah Fitzpatrick isn't a top 10 safety according to Madden.
I mean, I think he's a very good safety. I really think he is.
Like in no stats at all, not speed, not coverage.
Jeez.
Another thing that I really didn't get was why is Fields and Velus Jones not in the 99 club?
And with that,
they just don't see the true talent.
That has
been
the Anytime Sports Podcast Show. Clearly, nothing has changed from Andrew's perspective on the Bears. We'll see you later.
Peace.
For a good time, like yes please. I couldn't hear you inside the party. I wanna know what you said. Ay. I wanna know what's on your mind, what's going on in your head. Ay. I ain't saying that it's all love, but you can call me up if you need a friend. Know that old saying back when nothing good happens after 3 a.m. Man, shit, let's prove 'em wrong.